Hi there, Sandy here with another polymer clay video at my YouTube channel and my blog, keepsakecrafts.net. Today is the fifth and final in our 2015 Christmas Charms series, and I'm going to be showing you how to make this cute peppermint swirl bead. So to make this bead, you really only need a few things. You need some red and white clay in equal amounts. I'm using pearl just because I like the sparkle. You need a clay blade, a baby wipe. You need a piece of glass to work on, and then another piece of glass. This is just a piece from a picture frame that I've cut about a 4-inch wide strip and put some tape around the edges. You'll need this as a tool to make our beads. And then to hang your bead, you'll need a little 4mm screw eye and a small drill. So the baby wipe is very important when we're using white and red clay. Try to always handle the white first, then the red, and then when you go back to the white, use the wipe to wipe your hands, your work surface, just because the red is a very strong color and will contaminate the white very easily. So I have equal amounts of red and white clay, and they're less than an inch. The amount isn't crucial, as long as you have the same amount of each. And I'm just going to use this piece of glass. Now you could, if you don't have that, you could use one of these. This is an acrylic block that's used for rubber stamping to put cling stamps on. So I'll use that here. I'm just going to flatten this a little and make it more of a disc. And I'll do the same to the red. Just make them about the same size. And now use your clay blade to cut that disc in half. And then cut it into thirds. And then one more cut, cutting each of those 6 pieces in half to make 12ths. And repeat with the red disc. Now you can set aside half of each of these. You can make another cane, it depends on how much you want. And then we're just going to reassemble these so that they alternate, red and white. So you'll have 6 stripes of red and 6 of white. And don't worry if it's not perfect, it'll be fine. So now you have your cane, and just kind of go around, smush those edges together and roll it out. And you can actually roll this out into a bit of a log. And I'm going to roll it out to about 1/2 inch in diameter because I want to make our beads fairly small. If you want to make bigger beads, you can just cut bigger chunks of this cane. You'll see what I mean. Using a block like this helps you keep your log even as you roll it out. And then I'm just going to cut off the ends. Ends always get messy. And then cut about a 1/2 inch piece. And just use your fingers to kind of soften those cut edges and round them down because we want to make this into a ball. Once you have it fairly close to a ball, you can just roll it in your palms until it's round. And then place that with one end where the points are meeting facing up and center. And then you're going to use your glass. Now this is a technique that's been around the polymer clay world for a while. It's called the Swirly Lentil. And the reason it's called a lentil is that it looks like a large lentil bean, like the type you put in soup. This one was made with scrap clay, and you can see it's swirly. It's very cool. And I'm going to show you how to do it. It's kind of fun. I will warn you, it takes a bit of practice. Don't expect your first ones to come out well. I did a dozen and a half before I started to be happy with what I was coming out with. So the important thing here is to hold this piece of glass level. So if you put your fingers on either side and make like they're little table legs holding up this glass level. They should just touch the top of that ball of clay. And you're just going to make circles. Now clockwise or counterclockwise, it doesn't matter, but once you pick a direction, stick with it. Now the interesting thing here is the bigger the circles you make, the more of a bicone you get. If you make smaller circles, you end up flattening it and smushing it. So as you're working, you see it's getting too pointy, you can make your circles smaller. If you see it's getting too flat, you can make them bigger. But you just keep going around and apply a little bit of pressure. Again, it will take some practice to get the hang of how much pressure and keeping it level. Again, if it gets too flat, I'm going to make my circles bigger and then make them smaller, and now you can see it's starting to swirl. And when you're happy with your swirl, you can just stop, kind of tap it to flatten out that point in the center, and you have a swirly lentil bead. Isn't that cool? Now, I strongly recommend that you bake these before you try adding any kind of bead stringing hole, which is why I recommend a little screw eye like this, and then this is just a tiny drill set. Comes with all these little bitty drill bits that I got at a hobby store, and I'll be using this to drill the hole, and then I'll add a dab of glue and screw in my screw eye, because it's just too easy to mess up your nice shape. So I'll show you that one more time. Like I said, if you wanted a bigger bead, you just cut a bigger chunk of the cane. So we'll make this one about maybe 3/4 of an inch. And the same way, soften the edges. Today I'm just going to show you how to make this peppermint swirl bead, but in another video I will show you some of the ins and outs and more details about these lentil swirl beads. They're really wonderful. There's a lot you can do. Again, hold it level. You can use your fingers to keep it level, and then just spin. These are quite addictive. It's a lot of fun. I practiced by making beads just with clay from my scrap bin, and it was so much fun to see, you know, what would this color combination do, and what if I did this, and you know, some came out better than others. If your bead starts to go a bit oval on you, by the way, that means you're not holding your piece of glass level. You're not exerting even pressure. Ooh, I like that one. So you get a swirl on each side, and a great Christmas charm. So now my bead has come out of the oven, and I'm just going to use my drill bit to drill a hole for my screw eye. And this is such a fine drill bit that I'm not going to worry about starting it with an awl, although that's usually a good idea. And then there's the screw eye, and I don't have it with me now, but you really should add just a little tiny bit of strong glue. And don't over tighten it or you'll strip it out. And there you have, you've made your lentil bead into a charm. And here's the finished charm bracelet that I promised you. It's quite simple to put together. I just found some chunky chain that I liked and added a clasp to one end and a jump ring to the other. And then I attached my charms evenly spaced along the chain with jump rings, and I also added in some of these cute little 6mm jingle bells, but you could wire wrap crystals, you could add any kind of findings you like. And so we'll just open one last jump ring and pick a spot to attach our last charm. And there you have it. A really adorable Christmas charm bracelet. You could certainly make this into a necklace, make anything of these into earrings. I hope you had fun with this Polymer Clay Christmas Charms series. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a like and share it with others you think would enjoy it. Check out 2 of the previous charms videos up on the screen if you've missed them. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you'll see more videos like this one. You can follow me on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and on my blog, keepsakecrafts.net. Happy creating. Bye-bye.